Welcome back, everybody. It's your host, Sin Fritz. I am here with the one and only Kori. We are back here working on our SEGA tier list for their IPs that we officially know of. Because if you remember from last time, we're not 100% sure on what SEGA actually owns due to them possibly missing either documents or contracts. So, yeah. And thank you, Chief, for giving Kori a shout out here in the stream for this.
Thank you. Appreciate
it. Nothing but love to you, dude. You deserve it.
Thank you. You as well. You as well.
Oh, thank you. So, Landstalker. That is the one where we're starting off with today for this tier list. It is one of those games that was actually an isometric 3D RPG that was Zelda-like, if you will.
Yeah.
It was a Genesis game. I believe this came out either mid-Genesis or late Genesis. I'm not 100% sure since Genesis' lifespan lasted into, what was it, 97?
97. Yeah, we're on like 96, 97 maybe.
Yeah, something like that, because Sega basically had to do something to keep fans, at least, you know, at ease while they wait for the Dreamcast, since unfortunately the wonderful Saturn did not do well here in the States, which is a crime in my book.
Me too. I agree. I couldn't agree more.
So, Landstalker, where would you put this one? Because this is one of those IPs I think that personally Sega should take a second look at and try to come up with something for it, but that's me. But where would you put it?
I'll put Landstalker around like maybe the C era, the C area.
I was actually thinking C2, but I know some people are going to be sitting there online watching this video going, Landstalker, how dare it be higher than Eternal Champions?
Oh.
That's how I feel. Nothing against Eternal Champions. Nothing against it. Is a wonderful fighter, but Landstalker is very unique as a isometric RPG for its time, because we didn't really have like a lot of isometric 3D games on the Genesis. I know this and Sonic 3D Blast, but I don't think of any other titles. I can't. All right. I'm going to hold off on this one because I had to get the name for it. But this one we're going with My My.
Oh, My My. That's the rhythm game, right?
I believe so, yes. You probably had a better chance of playing this game while you were in Japan. We don't really see them here in the States unless it's like a certain convention comes along, like, for example, Dragon Con down in Atlanta. But I never got a chance to play this. You, on the other hand, you might have.
I played Chitanium. It's kind of similar to My My, but like the hand move is different. But like I'm very aware of like My My having like variety of music from like different artists, and they have like different Sega tunes and everything, which that's a plus for me. And I've seen like people play it and stuff. I like the user interface. I like how stylish it looks.
Right.
And how pro players, how they play it and everything. It was like really, really cool. I did see My cabinets at conventions, but I've never like sat down and like try to play it. I need to, but the aesthetic itself is like really, really unique. For me, I would like, based off like seeing people, like skillful people playing it and stuff, I'll probably put it like A tier.
I would have to agree with you on that. I haven't played it myself, but I have seen friends of mine actually play it. I'm not much for rhythm games these days because I hate to say it, but my skills from the days of me playing Guitar Hero and timing and everything has gone way down. But I know a great rhythm game when I see it. My is definitely up there as an A tier game. To the devs who made that, props. Serious props. All right. Mushi King, the king of Beatles.
King of Beatles.
Now, if anybody has seen myself play Yakuza here on the channel, you would have seen like a parody version of this in the Yakuza games.
Oh yeah.
And I still agree with Kiryu in that this is a kid's game. It is what it is, though. But Mushi King is a trading card game that you would play at an arcade. For those you don't know, you go out to a machine with your Beetle cards, and you would scan them, and then it becomes a game of rock, paper, scissors. It's a game of chance, basically, if you'll win or if you'll lose. But everything I've seen of it, I like it. I kind of wish we actually got some like this in the States because it's really interesting. Same thing with a lot of Sega's games that are in arcades that require trading cards. We don't get that stuff. I wish we did. But
yeah,
where
I played a minigame.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I played it. I played the Yakuza minigame. And I love me some rock paper scissors. I had a lot of fun playing it in Kiwami.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'll probably like put it like in B tier.
I'm thinking B tier as well. And it's funny, I found out about Mushi King before playing the Yakuza Kiwami remake of 1. As a lot of people know, I'm a pro wrestling Noah fan. I'm a fan of Mitsuharu Misawa's wrestling promotion. May he rest in peace. That wrestling promotion did a promotional show for Mushi King. They actually had wrestlers dressed up and they would wrestle in the costumes of the good guy and the bad guy. Mushi King, Terry, and Mushi King, I forget the other guy's name, but they did a wonderful job promoting the game and made me want to find out more about it. And because of that, I like Mushi King now, and Yakuza made me a bigger fan of it. So thanks, Sega. All right, this one, I had to look it up here quickly just to basically make sure, like, is this the right name? But apparently this is the English name. The actual name, though, is Rig Lord Saga.
Rig Lord Saga.
Better known here in the States as Mystaria, the Realms of Lore. This was originally released in '95 for the Sega Saturn. And they keep renewing the IP, but they really haven't done much with it, unfortunately.
I've probably seen this game somewhere on the Japanese Sega Saturn magazine, so I'm just skimming through like information, but I've never heard or played this before. I've probably seen it in the yeah.
It's one of those games that you hear about, I guess, but at the same time you're like, yeah, but I have this one over here that I want to play because it's really interesting me. That looks cool, but this is interesting me more. It feels like it's one of those moments. From what I am seeing, at least looking here, it is a tactical RPG. It was re-released as Blazing Heroes in North America. Its graphics consist of pre-rendered sprites and polygonal backgrounds. Its sequel was released in Japan only. which is usually how things go if it's selling great in one territory and not in the other.
Yeah.
So, Rig Lord Saga, aka Mystaria, aka Blazing Heroes. Personally, I think you'll agree with me. We can just put that
Yeah.
never played
Never
because
played.
it. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know it ever even existed.
Me neither.
All right. So the one that's there at the very front, that's in all Japanese. This one here is called Love and Berry. Dress up,
Love and Berry.
yeah, dress up and dance.
Okay, I am very familiar with Love and Berry. They were actually popular in Japan at the time. They even had their own uh store in
Oh,
Japan.
wow.
How popular the arcade game was for the younger girl demographic. Um,
So that basically tells me like this was a pop idol group that basically took Japan by storm then. At some
yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah. They're like, I think they're like focused on like more fashion.
Huh. Which is not a
But
bad thing because hey, it helps them stand out. And if they ended up getting a game, hell, a franchise apparently, according to this, congratulations to them. But since you know more about it, where would you put it?
for the aesthetics, I'll probably put it as B tier.
Aesthetic wise, B tier. Me personally, I have no say in this because I never played it. I never seen anything on it. So we're gonna go with you on this, Kori. It is definitely gonna be in the B tier. All right.
All right.
The next one is a little IP that you know well and I know well because of who made the game, and that is Knights.
Knights as a game,
Untapped
I
potential.
like. Yes, untapped potential. I like it being like a flying slash, like a 2D flying slash platformer. Uh, it's really good. I really love the music, especially as it changes. Depending on how like the Nightopians feel. I love Knights. Knights was one of the earlier Sega Saturn games I played along with Virtual Fighter.
Yeah.
Um, and the sequel, like Journey of Your Dreams, it's an okay game. I think the only issue I had with the sequel was like with
I
the
think it
frame
would.
rate.
Yeah, frame rate was an issue for me personally on the Wii version. I think the motion controls were a little weird because we're used to playing a Knights game with a controller, like a six
Yeah,
button pad, or if you had the PS2 import, a DualShock controller. The motion controls, that's what kind of threw it off for me. But
yeah,
but it is still a wonderful game. It's still a wonderful franchise. And to anybody out there, if you want to play Knights right now, the only way you can do is by getting a copy on Sega Saturn, the Wii, or the PS2 via import. You cannot currently get this game on Steam, which is a shame. We still don't know why it was removed.
yeah.
It's a mystery.
That's like a very, very, very weird move. I don't know. I've been seeing like a lot of like limited run partnerships with Sega, and I feel like they might do it that way, but I still think like it's like kind of, I don't know. I feel indifferent. Some
Yeah.
limited run stuff is good, but like, I feel indifferent of like re-releasing a game that you did listed and selling it at a different price higher than it was when it was released digitally.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, I think you'll agree if you want me to re-buy the physical version that you just took off Steam and, the Xbox or PlayStation stores or even Nintendo stores, you got to make it worth our while then. And that's a shame
I,
if you don't.
I'll be right back.
All right. So, personally speaking, I think when Kori gets back, he'll agree with me on this. Nights into Dreams, Night's Journey into Dreams, Untapped Potential. Personally speaking, I believe Nights is an A tier IP for Sega. Yes, it's just untapped potential. They could definitely do more with it. Hopefully, they will. I really do. It'd be a shame that they don't.
We stopped at Knights.
Yep.
I
So
put I would
I
put it S
say
tier.
Alex said the same thing. I'm sitting there going, yeah, it's an S tier IP. It kind of deserves a lot of love and support. We want to see Sega do more with it. Besides, just like, hey, here's 2 games. I want to see them bring Knights back as a comic book. I want to see Knights merchandise here in the States, not just Japan. I see you, Sega Japan. I've seen what you did. How dare you give just the Japanese public? We want it too. So hopefully we'll see more Knights in the future. All right, the next one. This IP started in 2018. It was developed by Sega AM1. This is Ongeki. Now, Ongeki, I don't know much about. I wish I actually did. It's really interesting, at least from what I understand, because this is another arcade rhythm game.
Mm.
It's the 3rd series that falls under the Performai or Genki Chumai umbrella, alongside Mai Mai and Chunitham. So, it's the 3rd in the series. This was the latest one. The last game, if I remember correctly, came out in 2022. But once again, it's Japan exclusive. But I actually never seen anything. I haven't even seen an arcade machine of this thing.
I've heard of Sega AM1, but I never heard of that game.
Neither have I. So, unfortunately, we're going to put it never played. But the next IP, let's face it, we know this. We've played it.
Outrun.
Yu Suzuki, you madman.
The masterpiece. The man behind.
So many of these
Check
IPs.
Mm-hmm.
So, Outrun, for those you don't know, you're basically driving a quote-unquote Ferrari across the country with a girl by your side, and you're trying to get to the other end of the country before your timer runs out. Started as an arcade game, came out in the Sega Genesis, got ports to other platforms. Unfortunately, its last entry in the series was Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. We have not had a new one since. You guys know I already have a copy of this game, and I am so looking forward to playing it again for you guys. It's so good. The Outrun series is so much fun. Just like everything else that Yu Suzuki has made. Whether it been Afterburner, Hang On, Outrun is up there with some of the best.
And the music, what's his name? Hori-san. He has done an amazing job, like creating like variety of music to listen to, like Magical Sound Shower, Passing Breeze.
But yes, Outrun, I think you'll agree with me. It's an A tier. There's something special about Outrun. And definitely deserves a lot of love. Now, the next one had only 4 or 5, maybe 6 video games entirely since its original release on the Sega Saturn. It recently got a remake. It was for the PS4, Steam, and the Switch, but it has not seen a new entry since the original Xbox. We are talking Panzer Dragoon.
Panzer Dragoon. The thing about I like about Panzer Dragoon is like it's on rails, and you can like shoot from different angles.
Yeah,
Has a
that
good decent story too.
oh my god, each entry story is so unique. I mean, right here in my hand right now, I'm holding Panzer Dragoon Orta, which if
Hmm.
nobody has played it, it's available on the Xbox Marketplace. You can buy a digital copy. I have a physical copy because, well, you guys know I'm creating an archive for Sega's third-party stuff. So it's so good, but the sad thing about it is a lot of us want to replay these games, but Sega they just can't go out and re-release them because it is now known officially that Panzer Dragoon's source code for for the first game, for Zwei, for Saga is gone. It just doesn't exist anymore. So that's why like Panzer Dragoon, the remake and its sequel is getting a remake, and why it's taking so long to do. It's a shame. It really is a shame that it's happened for this IP. Uh, but I think you'll agree, Corey. Panzer Dragoon is just like Outrun. It's something special, and it definitely deserves to have a lot of eyes on it.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, I kind of want to play the sequel. I know. Was it? How's it pronounced? Like Panzer Dragoon
To
Zoe or
Zwei,
Zoe? Yeah,
yeah,
I wanna play the sequel again. I played a little bit on the Sega Saturn, and I'm kind of looking forward towards the remake. But I think Forever Entertainment is now focusing on the House of the Dead 2 remake.
yep.
Uh, so like
They,
kind of
when I'm guessing when they're done with the House of Dead 2 remake, they'll be going over to the Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei remake. I know the one that everybody wants to see is a remake of Saga.
yes.
Who knows if that will happen? It usually depends on like how well the first and the second game sell. It's a wait and see. If you guys want to see Saga get a remake, please go out and buy Panzer Dragoon remake and its sequel when it comes out.
Oh
Please
yeah,
do so.
the remake is like is available on Steam and other consoles
Yes.
for like a very very cheap price.
Yeah.
It's I would say it's a short game, but like it has some good replay value and stuff.
Oh yeah. Like we know at the time, because when that game came out, it was a Saturn title, and it was very arcadey because you could tell that's what they wanted to aim for, but on a console instead of in the arcade. But they gave so much content to it, it made it replayable for hours on end. It was just nonstop fun.
Mm.
But IP wise, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I'm thinking Panzer Dragoon is a B.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's good for a B tier.
It's nothing to like really shake a stick at here. I love Panzer Dragoon. It's just that there just wasn't enough of the series. And a lot of it is trapped on a single platform. Granted, there is, like I said, Panzer Dragoon Orta on the Xbox. You have a Panzer Dragoon game on the Sega Game Gear. So please go out and pick up those games if you can. They're usually cheap, and you don't have to worry about spending like $1,000 for Saga. So don't do that, please. All right, so we got two interesting games here next because I'm not sure they're the same IP or not. The first one being Pengo, and then the one after, Penguin Land.
Pengo. I heard Pengo.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Pengo is based on a different IP. I think Sega basically made the game for the company and was like, okay, here you go. Pay us. Personally speaking, I never seen them play it. But what about you, Corey, when it comes to Pengo?
I've I've seen it a couple of times, especially like in Sega Forever server when they had like the emojis. Um,
Ah,
but
that's right.
other than that, like Pingo and Penguin Land are before my time.
They're before my
um,
time too, so.
yeah,
So personally, I'm gonna put both Penguin Land and Pengo down and never played. Penguin Land, I don't know much about it either. It's kind of similar to Pengo. It's from at least what I remember. If I'm wrong, someone in the comments,
yeah.
please let me know down below, and I'll definitely check it out then. But we're jumping over to Atlas, the Atlas side of Sega, for
Atlas.
the most popular IP that Atlas actually has, Persona. Now, to think this series has been around since the original PlayStation and only happened because of them trying a different type of Shin Megami Tensei game called If. It blows my mind that this series is as popular as it is.
Oh yeah, like man, I'll be honest. The only Persona game that I've played is I'll say two. I played two Persona games, which I have yet to complete. Is Persona 3 Reloaded, and Persona 5 Royale. Those are like the only two Persona games I've played. Because like I never played like the Persona games earlier on. This was like before Sega bought Atlas.
Yeah, but Persona, I have only played Persona 3 Fez and Persona 3 Reload. I love Reload. It's very well done. Just seeing how far we have come since the PS2 era with that game
Mm,
to what we have now. Props,
yes.
props to the devs on reimagining and bringing that game up to date. So, personally speaking, because I'm going to be biased here on this one, because it is one of Sega's pillars, I have to give it an S. I have
Oh
to.
yes. Yes.
Shout out to Atlas for looking at Shin Megami Tensei and basically flipping the script, flip the script as they usually say, and bringing Persona to life, and still going after all these years. And if I'm not
Oh,
mis- go ahead.
the music is phenomenal, especially like the vocal
Yes.
music. Like Lynn, like she can sing her heart out. Like oh my god,
Oh my
it's
god.
so good. I wouldn't mind seeing her singing more, like doing more like Sega and Atlas doing more projects with her.
100%. I definitely would love to see that. And not just that, I want to see Atlas keep experimenting, trying new things with their RPGs, because when they do that, we get things like Metaphor Refantasio. So keep doing what you're doing, Atlas. You're amazing. Next is another RPG series that you and I both know, and we this is another one that takes quite a bit of time. But thankfully, it's still going, granted, as an online game now. And I'm talking Fantasy Star.
Fantasy Star. Yeah. Um, Fantasy Star. I love the character designs. I like the different aspects and stuff. Like the original series, like the first four games was like more
Yes.
focused on like turn-based tactical strategy, and then like when we moving on to the Dreamcast era, that's where like everybody kind of jumped in on the Fantasy Star train. It was
Yes.
Fantasy Star Online. Oh
And
man,
and because it was on the Dreamcast, it didn't survive as long as it deserved because the Dreamcast died too early, in my opinion. But Fantasy Star would live on being ported to the original Xbox and the GameCube with episodes 1 and 2, and then for the GameCube only, episode 3. The series continues to this day with Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. If you have not played that yet, what are you doing? Why aren't you playing it? You should be checking it out.
It's so much fun, especially when you're playing with other friends.
Oh, definitely.
What was one of the things like my favorite memory when what one of the Fantasy Star Online games? There's episode 1 and 2 on the GameCube, and it has the feature where you can use your. Like, not only that, you play multiplayer locally with your friends. Me and my brother used to like uh do like a bunch of missions.
Let me just put it out of the way so no one says that anything about this. Yes, I know Fantasy Star Universe exists. The ones that were on the PS2, Xbox, and of course the PSP side ones for that part of the franchise, as well as Fantasy Star Zero, which is on the Nintendo DS. Please go play those games as well if you can. I know Fantasy Star Zero kind of isn't cheap these days, but if you're fine with a Japanese copy, please get that one. It's much cheaper, and plus you get a holographic cover instead of just a plain one, which still boggles my mind. That's the variant. But Fantasy Star, legendary IP, the competitor to, I guess you could say this to Final Fantasy if you want.
Yeah,
So, personally speaking, it is an A. It's
I
almost
agree.
it's almost
It's
S.
almost an S.
I have to knock Giant Graham finally down a peg. And I have no problem with that. All right, the next one is Power Instinct.
Power Instinct. Okay, that's another Atlas title.
Yeah, it is.
It's a wacky fighting game. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
Um,
you would probably know this one better than me because you play more fighting games than me, which is mind-boggling to me. It's a
she's
wacky series. It really is. Not many
Angela
people.
Body Attack.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about Power Instinct. I wish Atlas would re-release this fighting game. I really do. Both of them, to be exact.
Yes.
But Kori, you are the fighting game master here between you and I. So, where would you put Power Instinct?
I will say the CPU still sucks. But I'll put it B tier. um,
Oh,
I just like
hmm.
I like its aesthetics, and I've been saying that a lot. But like it's a funny wacky fighting game.
That it is. That it is. Like I said, if you haven't played it, find a way to play it. Go out, buy a copy, or do the one thing that I'm not going to speak about on this channel right now, which is the E word. So we're gonna skip. We're gonna skip two of these because they're Japanese. I know what they are. They're both sports titles. One's soccer. One's baseball. We'll get back to that. I want to get
Okay.
this one out of the way because it's weird how Sega got their hands on this IP, and that is Puyo Puyo.
Puyo, 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 puyo,
So,
puyo.
for those who don't know, Puyo Puyo was created by Compile, and it was released in the arcades first, and then Sega helped port it to the Sega Genesis and other platforms. At one point, Compile wasn't looking so hot financially, so Sega made a contract deal with the owner, gaining rights to Puyo Puyo. Unfortunately, Compile went under, but Puyo Puyo's new owner, Sega, said to the previous owner of Compile, if you can find a way to get out of bankruptcy, we will give you back Puyo Puyo. It was basically, hey, we believe in you. We love this IP. We don't want to see it go under. If you can get back out of this, you can have it back. You can create with the Puyo Puyo again. No strings attached. Unfortunately, that never happened. So Puyo Puyo is an official Sega IP. And has been going strong for how
Mm-hmm.
many years?
Oh
Oh,
shoot.
over
Almost 30, right? Oh.
almost. Where's our anniversary for Puyo Puyo, Sega?
Mhm.
Jokes aside, I love this series. It is a great puzzle game. I love that we have Puyo Puyo Tetris. I love that we have these anniversary games that come out, whether to celebrate the 15th or the 20th anniversary. Puyo Puyo basically has been on almost every platform in one way or another. Heck, it's even on the PS4, the original, the Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch because of Sonic Mania, of all things.
Oh my, yes. Oh, that's I like how the developers added Puyo Puyo gameplay into Sonic Mania.
That was
Um
brilliant. That
what
really
was even
was.
funny what's even funnier is when you get a tie in competition mode, you end up playing Puyo Puyo against the other player in order to like to settle the score finally. And I'm just like, yo, like you guys did an amazing job doing that. Like that's so cool. And like another aspect about Puyo Puyo is pulling off those chain combos. Like when you build up the
Yes.
Puyo Puyos like together at like, and then like you stack them in the right position, like it just goes to like the other opponent and it just builds like this rock Puyo, and you could just see the chain combo going to like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and
And
let
just,
RO be like
oh,
just like she's a say her magical spells. She was like Ice Storm, Fireball, like stuff like that, and I'm like, yo, like you killed them, you murdered them,
you
like
murdered him indeed. Oh,
this.
and on top of that, the story mode, the campaign mode, all the wacky characters you meet along the way. Heck, you even meet a character named Satan. I think it's like the only time you can sit here in a Sega franchise, not an Atlas one, and say, "Hey, I fought Satan." But Puyo Puyo, it's legendary. It has been around for almost 30 years now. Shout out to Sega for keeping the IP alive because good lord, we need more puzzle games out there, not just Tetris rocking everything. But
Yeah.
if my friend Zeke was here though, he would probably disagree with me.
Oh.
Oh, I'm thinking it might be a B. I'm thinking, but it could be a low A. Where would?
I I I I put it a low A.
Oh, I agree. I
It's,
gotta
it's fun to
agree.
play.
You know what though?
It's fun to play with friends too.
If I put it in B rank, I would never hear the end of it from my friend Zeke. Never. This game though, Puzzle in Action, better known as Puzzle in Action Tant R. The last game to come out was Puzzle in Action Treasure Hunt. If you remember anything about this, it is a spin-off of the Bonanza Bros.
Mm-hmm. I
Please
I
play this.
played this. I played this. It was on the Switch under Sega Ages, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
Um.
believe it was the Sega Ages 2500 series how I played it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Wario, where like you have to go
Yeah.
through like different objectives. Um. Like it's like different objectives. You do specific like I can't remember the mini games because it's been so long since I played it on the Switch.
For me,
Um,
it's been years because
yeah,
mine was
it's
the
like
PS2 version. Jeez. If I remember correctly,
I gotta refresh my
um,
memory.
the characters for Bonanza Bros, Robo and Mobo, are featured as protagonists, functioning as detectives. A prison escapee is chased, and his henchmen interfere. And yes, it is a series of time mini games that must be completed to defeat the henchmen. And if I remember correctly, because this game never came out here in
Oh,
the States, it was feature references to Western culture. So we probably would have seen like a lot of pop culture references over here. So personally, puzzle and action, basically Bonanza Bros, that whole entire series. It's a lost IP. Sega has not touched it in years. I personally will put it at a C. It's very, I want to say, not desired, unfortunately. Though it should be because it's like, hey, you have your own WarioWare game here. You can use this. So I would say it's C. What do you think?
yeah, I agree. It's a C for me as well. 'Cause I haven't really played too much of it. Like the mini games kind of get harder later on.
Yeah. Up next is Quest of D. D's nuts. Anyways, um, Quest of D was an arcade game developed by Sega AM2 and published by Sega on the Chihiro arcade board. It is actually the fifth trading card arcade game by Sega, following World Cup champion football, Mushi King, the Kiev Avalon, and Love and Berry Dress Up and Dance.
Hmm.
So I never
Heard
got
that.
I never got a chance to even see any gameplay of this. I wish I did. It looks interesting for a card game. It's a action roleplay card game in a dark fantasy setting and is online enabled, similar to previous AM2 titles like Virtua Fighter 4 and Sega Network Tyson Mahjong MJ. From the picture I am looking at, I like the arcade cabinet style for this. Version 3, the last one that came out, because the first one came out in 2004, and then the last game for Quest of D that it came out was 2007. So we have not seen another entry in this IP either. Sega, what are you doing? uh, it feels like they could probably like take some of these card games of theirs and just turn them into something similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like it's a lost opportunity. So I never played this, and knowing your luck, you probably never played it in Japan while you were there too, right?
Nah, I never played it.
Now we are at Rail Chase. This was another Sega AM2 project along with Aspect, as they would go on to. Oh wait, not Sega AM2. This was Sega AM3. Excuse me.
3.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good.
So the first game came out in '91, with the sequel coming out in '95. It's another IP that is on ice currently. There is so many IPs on ice, Sega. What the hell? You're making me sad, Sega. Oh my god. On I remember playing the first one. I do remember playing the first one, but I can't remember where I played it. I don't remember if I played this at a convention or if I played it at an arcade that had import arcade games. I can't remember. I just remember. I think. Wait, man, am I thinking of two? Let me give me a second. I want to look up what the cabinet looks like. Yeah, I'm thinking of number 2.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yep. I'm seeing it now. Yeah. The Rail Chase 2 arcade cabinet was a cedar. It was big. It was a big arcade cabinet and came out here in '95. It was a good rail shooter though.
Oh yeah.
It was really good. In the end, no, Rail Chase, as good as it is, I'm gonna make it in a high C. Well, yeah, high C, just behind Eternal
Yeah.
Champions.
Yeah, I see
It's
is
still
good.
great. It's still a great series. I'm gonna skip this little Japanese one here because I gotta figure out the name of it again because it's how long since we did this? Like a month? Yeesh.
Yeah.
But the next one up is Rent a Hero.
Rent a Hero.
This is
Rent a Hero.
this is another IP that's on ice and has not been touched since the Dreamcast, which is honestly kind of a shame, really.
Well,
Let's-
there technically there is a game in development, but it's kind of not what you expect.
of course. I mean, it's Sega though. We should learn to expect the unexpected from them at this point.
Oh yeah.
But sadly for me, I never got a chance to play Rent a Hero. I wanted to. The character designs really popped to me. It really looks great. The gameplay looks fantastic. Corey, you probably have more on this than I would. So
I've played both the Mega Drive and the Dreamcast version. The Dreamcast version, number one, is essentially a remake of the Mega Drive version. Uh, it uses the Spike Out engine.
ooh.
Uh, so it kind of plays similar to that. So like, how to put this for like people who are like new to Sega and I got into like Yakuza, like you know those little hero missions in Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yep.
It's kind of like that. You're a kid who just moved to a new town. You get this combat armor from a company that's looking for rent-a heroes to like do different tasks to like help the citizens in the city. It could go from you know fighting against like bad guys in the street or doing like tasks of like saving a girl and getting her to the hospital.
Well, since you know this better, I'm gonna let you choose where you believe Rent a Hero belongs.
I'll put it like B tier, right between Panzer Dragoon and Columns.
Ooh,
Yep, right there. Excellent.
perfection. All right, now I got the name of this Japanese one in front of us. This one is Rikishi Tyson Gentenka, or Get Tenka. There we go. This series, as far as I know, is a trading card game. Another one, but this was produced for children. The characters are deformed versions of warlords from the Sengoku period of Japan. And 3 cards can be loaded at the same time by stacking 2 transparent plastic cards, an item card, and a weapon card on top of the character card. I don't know much about it. The logo is based on its second game. There have only been 2 games, unfortunately. The first one came out in 2009. The second one came out a year later, titled Rikishi Tyson Get Tenkaichi Battle Royale. So it probably did not survive that well. Probably was not popular with kids, which is unfortunate, but you're trying new things for the company. So, hey, as long as you're trying and not just sitting on your laurels. Personally, I never played it. And Corey, let's face it, you never played it either.
I never played it.
No.
Nope.
But the next one I know of, I know it's a Japan exclusive. It's available on the PS2 and on the Sega Dreamcast. I unfortunately never played it. And that's Room Mania 203. As far as I know anything about this game, URS Room Mania. Uh, it's a little weird one. It's kind of like a slice of life game. I never got a chance to play it though, so I can't say anything on it. Corey, do you have anything?
I've heard of it. I've seen gameplay of it, but I've never like touched it or like really like looked into it a little too much. I've seen. I think I've seen like a couple of stuff
Yeah.
from like I think Sega Gaga and whenever Sega does like the little concerts during Tokyo Game Show, like they'll have
Yeah.
music from that game. Like good music, but I've never played it.
Same. It's unfortunate too because it looks interesting. I know a an eBay store that has a copy for sale. I always want to get it, but I keep forgetting this IP actually even exists. So I gotta put it in never played. What about you?
All right.
Never played as well?
Oh, yeah, I never played it.
I'm gonna let you
All
take the
right.
floor for this one
Oh yeah.
because you
Uh,
recently made a YouTube video not too long ago discussing this franchise.
Soccer Wars. Man, Soccer Wars was like it still is my childhood. It's about uh, you know, young girls who are like combat maidens who defend their capital against demons. They also perform like stage performances to, uh give like the city like a brighter future. Um and like they're they have spiritual powers that they use to power up their mechs called Kobus, which they're like steam powered with spiritual energy. Um, and like the games, like, I've played on I played all the main titles. Like first off, the
Dang.
story the story is good. Like when you're able to play Sakura Wars, because I think like there's like fan translations of
Yes.
the very first game on Sega Saturn. The second game is the second and third games are currently being translated by fans right now, and I can tell you this: like the Ogami Saga is really good. Like the games have strong character development. Like not only you'll like grow attached with like the girls in the games, but you also have like an attachment with the supporting cast as well, like Commander Yonada, IMA Fujiyeta, and like the first two games focus on turn-based tactical strategy. Luckily, I played Shining Force, so I kind of knew what to do from there. And like the combat is very easy to understand. It's not really that
Oh yeah.
hard. You're just doing like basically clear the enemy field for the most part. The second game takes it up a notch. Uh,
That's putting it
like you,
lightly.
yeah, like before you get into battle and stuff, you have the option to choose the mission objective. 3, 4, and 5 move to the arms mechanic, where you can actually like freely move around your Kobu, but like you still have like a limited bar. It's kind of like how Valkyrie Chronicles do it. Like you can move your soldier at a certain distance
Mm.
that you can, and then the new one, shifts away from that and focused on uh straight up action combat that you see in like games like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. Um, but it's like very simplified. But overall, Soccer Wars is a really really great franchise. It was really popular in Japan. The theme
Really.
song is like still like played to this day.
Yeah, you
Um,
can go to Tokyo Game Show or any other game convention in Japan, and you will hear the theme song play. It's
yes,
still beloved.
yes, it's such an amazing series. It also like spanned through like anime, TV series, OVA, stage plays,
If I'm not
you
mistaken,
name it.
they also even had basically those type of CDs where you can just sit there and listen to them basically reading a script. I forget what they call that, but they even have
Oh,
those.
dramatic
Yeah,
CDs
dramatic
like
CDs.
drama.
That's it.
Yeah, drama CDs. Yeah,
Yeah, dramas.
like stuff like that is like I just love Sakura Wars for its like character development. Like
Same. I think the best way we put it is play Sakura Wars.
straight up, like no matter the cost. Like I if you guys in the chat, if you guys want to pick up Sakura Wars, if you want to play all 4 games, like it's quite expensive, but I highly recommend getting the Dreamcast collection. I
Yes.
think it's like the Sakura Wars complete box because that's how I kind of started out playing the games. Like I originally watched and was first exposed to Sakura Wars through the OVAs, but the plots were confusing. Then I
Yeah.
realized OVAs were essentially like in between the games
Yeah, it was the
and the movie
cutscenes,
too.
if you will.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, like okay, now I understand where this OVA takes place.
Yeah.
Um, after playing the games, but I highly recommend getting the first 4 games on Dreamcast. There's a bunch of like fan translated guides on GameFAQs by Kayama.
Yep.
Uh, Going through his guides really helped me through the game and understand what's going on with the story. You'll fall in love with like every character in that game. Um, it's like a really good like video game series that Sega has ever put out, and unfortunately, like we never got those games ported until like the 5th game and
The PS2,
the
which was
P-
5, and then the
yeah.
is it a remake or is it a reimagining?
So
The
the
PS4.
new the
Yeah.
PS4 one, it's a soft reboot, but it's a sequel to the original series. It takes place, I think, like 10 years after the original game series.
Right,
Um,
right. And if
yeah,
anybody out there is wondering why Soccer Wars basically never got a chance here in the States, the original Saturn release was presented to the ESRB and they presented the first 2 hours of gameplay. However, within that two first hours of the original game on the Sega Saturn, it was mostly the visual novel aspect. They didn't get a chance to get to the turn-based action of what this game is all about. So
yeah.
ESRB would just see it as a turn-based and give it a low rating, and Sega be like, "No, no, 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 no! It is not that. What are you doing?" And they would try to explain it, what it is to the ESRB. Then they didn't get it, so they said, "We're not going to port this then." So thanks, ESRB. That one's on you for actually once, not Sega.
Yeah.
But
It's very unfortunate. It's a really good series.
yes, very good. But since you are the one who loves Soccer Wars more than even I do, and I have Soccer Wars 5, I actually have the box set version. So you're gonna be the one that lets us know where Soccer
Put
Wars goes.
put that franchise straight to the S tier.
Where are we putting it on S? Where are we putting it?
I'll put it between House of the Dead and Jet Set Radio.
Ooh, there we go. House of the Dead, Soccer Wars, Jet Set, Night Persona. Wow. All right, before we jump into this next one here quick, I'm gonna translate the name here quickly of this Japanese one. This is Sengoku Shi Taisen. It's oh god, another trading card game. Come on, Sega. This is a hybrid physical and digital collectible card game for the arcade on the Chihiro arcade board. It's a real-time strategy based game set in the Three Kingdoms period of Chinese history. So, this is another one I didn't play, and I think I speak for Kori on this one. He didn't play either because
Yeah, I never
yeah,
played it.
yeah. So unfortunately, down here it never played. But now, everything else here is a title minus probably one that came out in the United States. We are down to, let's see here, 12, 24, 35 games left in the IP list.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, we have come pretty far, man.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna do at least 2 more, maybe 3, and then we're gonna continue next time because unfortunately I got an interview I gotta do with the Outbreak developers here at 8 o'clock. But
Oh,
yeah,
Resident Evil Outbreak.
no, independent
Oh,
devs. They are
oh,
creating
okay.
a storm chaser simulator so people can
Oh,
understand what it's like to go out there in Tornado Alley and actually chase these things for real.
mm,
It's a blast. I highly recommend it. You should definitely give it a shot, dude. Um,
dude.
but the next one on the list, Samba de Amigo.
Amigo. Bum, bum, ba-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, ba, ba,
So,
da-da-da-da-da-da.
Samba de Amigo, released originally on the Sega Dreamcast, and then the most recent entry came out on the Nintendo Switch. Thank you for bringing this one back, Sega. Oh my god. Uh, automatically, it's B. It's a B tier because it's a rhythm game. It's There's nothing really special in today's market because there's been so many rhythm games, but
Yeah.
it's a high B, right
Yes.
past Panzer Dragoon. I am sorry, Panzer Dragoon fans, but
Yeah.
Samba outdoes the Dragoon.
I want to say too, like, I highly recommend people to like check out Party Central.
Yes,
Um, if
please.
you, yes, it's on Switch. It's on Quest. I think Quest 2 and 3,
Yep,
and you can also download it on iOS. Uh,
that you can,
'Cause iOS has like an exclusive story mode.
which I am
So I highly,
jealous of.
me too. I wish it was ported on like the other games and stuff, but like it's a fun rhythm game. I bought it to show my support. I need to play it with my family. It's definitely a good game to play with your family and stuff.
So, for those
Um,
who don't know how this rhythm game works, basically, on the Dreamcast, it came with maraca controllers that you would just shake in rhythm to the beat and the icons you see on the screen. For the Switch version, you're using your Joy Cons, like that I'm holding here in my hand, to actually do the same thing. The music is great. They got popular hits from Pitbull to even Sonic titles and so many others. If you haven't played it, please go play Party Central. It is well worth your time.
yes.
All right. The next one is one that is currently on ice that I hope is actually coming back based on a certain Sonic title that is coming out, and that is the Sega All Stars IP. For those who don't know what this
All
IP is,
Star.
it's the Sonic and Sega All Stars racing game, the Sega Superstars Tennis, Sega Superstars on the PS2, and of course, All Stars Racing Transformed. Those 4 games alone make up the Sega All Stars. Why we never got a fighting game for this is beyond me. It's really weird.
Yeah. We are long overdue for like another Sega All Stars game. Like I think a fighting game would make perfect sense at this point, especially if like Sega is bringing back and rebooting all their classic IPs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
Granted,
just use the
it's not a classic. It's honestly not a classic, but all their
yeah.
IP mains that stand out the most appear in the All Star series, from from Rio from Shenmue to Akira from Virtua Fighter to Sonic himself. It is full of everyone's favorite characters.
Yes.
And all we mostly got is a tennis game and 2 racing games and a iToy game. Thank you, Sumo Digital. Thank you. Would have loved to seen a fighting game from the series. I'm not even kidding. It's a missed opportunity.
Yes.
Personally
Man.
speaking, though, I gotta put it in A. I'm a little biased here because of All Stars Racing Transformed. So the last one I think we're gonna do for today is an arcade game that actually got ports ended up on the Dreamcast, ended up on the PS2, and on Steam. Sega Bass Fishing.
Sega Bash Fishing.
I kind of want to play
I
Bass
stuck it.
Fishing Duel. I kind of want to right now because I blame Hard Pretzel for this. Our teammate, he got me into getting into Sega Bass Fishing because he was like, "Oh, dude, this is how I play it." Basically, getting a group of friends together, everybody gets out a line, tosses in their own little game, and whoever has the most weight collected at the end of the timer basically wins. Which honestly is not a bad way to do that with friends, especially in today's day and age. Personally speaking,
Oh yeah,
I need a new one. I need a new entry. It's a lot of fun with friends. But what say you?
man. I think I personally suck at Sega Bash Fishing, but I wouldn't mind seeing like a modernized version of Sega Bash Fishing. Um,
I would love to see it
for like
myself.
yeah, because I kind of miss the innovation, like the innovative like arcade games from back in the day where they used to
Mhm.
like make like little peripherals, like control peripherals for those games.
Yep, like our Sega
Um,
Bass Fishing controller that
yeah,
people would actually use with Sonic Adventure 2 for Big's fishing game. Oh man, those were the times. But yeah, I want to see it make a return. It kind of deserves to. Um, I think we can put this one right in C. It's just sitting there. It's waiting to be used again. I would say it's a mid C, right behind Alien Syndrome. And that's just me personally. It's just like sitting there waiting me to be used, and it has
mhm,
not been touched. Same thing with a lot of the IPs that are currently stuck in that tier list.
yeah.
So, unfortunately, this is all we have time for when it comes to this today. It's been fun. We are so close to getting through the whole entire IP tier list. There are so many left in here. From Sega GT to Virtua Strikers to Virtua Fighter to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
before we get out of here, Corey, if you want, go ahead and give yourself a plug, dude. You definitely
Okay.
deserve it.
Plug it in, plug it in. Okay, guys. You guys can follow me on YouTube at Kori Gaming. I just dropped a couple of Virtual Fighter videos, and I got one coming up at 9 p.m. tonight. Uh, I I'll let you guys in a little secret. I got to fight against the chief producer of Virtual Fighter 5 Revo at Frosting Frostings. It was quite fun and scary at the same time. You can follow me on Twitch at Kori. You can follow me on Twitter at Kori, Blue Sky at Kori, and Instagram and TikTok at Patrick_Kori.
And for me, of course, you guys know you can follow me here on my YouTube channel. And of course, you can follow me on social medias. I'm basically the same name across all social media platforms, just minus the underscore in the middle. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, you name it. So, Corey, thank you so much. Don't go away. I want to talk to you about something a little bit off screen so nobody can hear us for a little bit. But we'll be right back,
Okay.
guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be right back.